Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Sips and Stories. I'm JJ, and tonight's episode is a little different, more personal, more reflective. Over the last year, I've gone through a very profound spiritual change, one that's reshaped not only how I see the world, but how I write. Somewhere along the way, I realized that what I had published before no longer felt aligned with what I believe now. When I first started writing, I looked at what was selling, what readers loved, what went viral. And I convinced myself that to succeed, I needed to write that way too. So I studied the books everyone was talking about, the ones with the steam, the heat, the spice. And don't get me wrong, I loved them. I devoured them. I was reading tons. But my stories were always built differently. They were about broken people trying to find their way back to love, about redemption and purpose and faith, even when I didn't realize it yet. But somewhere between the hype and the hustle, I lost the heart of it. I found myself saying things like, maybe you shouldn't read my book. Either because of the language or a few scenes I wasn't particularly proud of. That's not how I ever want to feel about something I've created. I want my kids to be able to read it. I want my parents to be able to read it. So I made the choice to change it. Not because anyone told me to, but because God did. And in that process, I've discovered that removing the noise only made the emotion louder. And the new version of With Wine Comes Wisdom, which re-releases October 27th, is still full of drama, suspense, and the kind of heartfelt emotion that makes you hold your breath and turn the page for all the right reasons. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to read a chapter from the rewritten edition. It's a moment between Alex and Roman that captures exactly what I wanted this story to be all along. But first, I just want to say thank you for staying on this journey with me, for growing alongside me, for believing that sometimes when we strip things back and start again, what's revealed underneath is something even more beautiful. Here we go, chapter 22. I had plenty to keep me occupied at work today, most of it frustrating. Trying to untangle the zoning issues tied to the Borough Township project felt like playing chess against an invisible opponent who kept moving the pieces when I wasn't looking. Matt and I were narrowing down a short list of police officers, investigators, and zoning officials we could trust. Well, not only knee-deep in backdoor deals or kickbacks. Thank God he knew a lot of decent ones. I was starting to realize how few I actually trusted. Turns out the network of people I thought I could rely on was a little too cozy with the Ellingtons. I had to tread carefully, watch my words. Some of them were still useful, but only because they could point me toward where the next shady deal was brewing. I didn't realize how deep this went, or how close to home it really was. At least I was back to my usual pace, working straight through the day except for lunch. Today I called Amelia into my office for it. First time in over 3 years, apparently. She walked in with takeout in hand, narrowed her eyes and said flatly, "What's this about?" "What do you mean? Can I have lunch with my assistant?" I asked, smirking. She crossed her arms and let out a long-suffering sigh that almost made me laugh. "You can, you just haven't." Oof. Why didn't you tell me I was being a... Never mind. I do, frequently. She figured it out anyway. I barked out a laugh and tossed a french fry at her. She ducked it, grinning, and I felt the tension ease between us. I needed this kind of honesty in my life, especially today. I said, sobering, I actually wanted to ask you something. She speared a bite of her salad and didn't look up. Does it have to do with someone named Alex? Jesus, is it that obvious? She raised an eyebrow, still chewing. You've mentioned her in literally every other sentence for the past 2 weeks. Should I ask the question or just let you guess the answer then? Shoot, she said, finally looking up. I leaned back in my chair, arms crossed. It's been a long time since I've wanted to really spend time with someone. Alex is different. She's sharp, funny, strong as hell, and somehow still soft around the edges. I'm used to the princess types, the kind that need a handler. Alex doesn't want anything from me. She's always pulling away. Amelia studied me. That was a beautiful monologue. Was there a question in there? I blinked, pulling out of my thoughts. Right. Why do you think she's pushing me away? She tilted her head. Why do you think she is? I don't know. Maybe she's just being honest. She said more than once that she likes being alone. Now she looked genuinely baffled. You have got to be the dumbest smart man I know. Do you realize how rare that is? A woman who enjoys solitude but still chooses to spend time with you? I frowned. You think that's a good thing? She spends time with you. That's the part you're missing. If she really wanted to be left alone, you'd already be blocked, deleted, and ghosted. I blinked. Damn. Sound like one of those needy Instagram girls. Bingo. She took a long sip of water. Get yourself together. If you want to keep seeing her, stop obsessing. Don't try to own her. She's not that type. She's a free spirit, independent. You cage her, she'll run. I nodded slowly, letting it settle. All right, from now on, we're having lunch at least twice a week. She smirked. I'll be here to slap sense into you anytime. The rest of the afternoon flew by. Meetings stacked up, emails pinged nonstop, but I felt lighter than I had in days. Sometimes you just need someone to look you in the eye and tell you to quit acting like a lovesick idiot. Just before I was supposed to leave for dinner with Alex, her message came through. Hi, hope you had a good day. My kickboxing class just ended, so I'm headed home to shower. Just come up when you get here. Push the ring button. Sounds good. Productive day? Can't believe you already took another class. You're a beast. See you soon. When I got to her building, the door buzzed open like magic. Her place was secure, sophisticated security, automatic locks. She didn't need me to protect her, but I was glad she had the tools anyway. I stepped inside to find 2 wine glasses on the counter, a bottle of Cab already breathing, and a handwritten note that made me smile. Please pour us a cocktail before dinner. Thanks, A. I poured the wine and sat on the bar stool closest to the hallway, half nervous anticipation, half mental pep talk. She had a habit of walking out and leaving me speechless. Tonight was no exception. She came down the hallway in a fitted white t-shirt that clung to her curves like a second skin and a pair of torn jeans that fit like a glove. Her hair was still damp from the shower, effortless and beautiful. My mouth went dry. Hi, she said, lifting a brow and taking the glass I handed her. She sipped, her eyes locked on mine, head slightly tilted like she was trying to read my thoughts. She probably could. Hi to you, I managed. Everything okay? Better than okay. Honestly, I think I like you better like this than when you're dressed up. Relief flicked across her features. Good, this is definitely more comfortable. The dresses, they're fun, but not all the time. Then maybe we skip the fine dining from now on and hit some pubs instead. Her eyes lit up. Can we go to Rooftop? I haven't been yet. I heard it's got a great vibe. Absolutely, I know the owner. Did the renovations when it was just an old warehouse. Her jaw dropped a little. No way, that must have been so rewarding. Turning such a clean slate into something so beautiful. That hit me harder than it should have, since that's what I love so much about what I do. The creativity, not the demolition. I'll see if Dominic can give us a tour. As expected, Rooftop was packed when we arrived, music thumping, glasses clinking, the buzz of conversation spilling into the stairwell. But Dominic had our table ready. No wait, no stress, just a knowing grin as he waved us past the crowd. He led us through the belly of the brewery, past polished copper tanks and warm oak barrels, down low-lit corridors with floors that hummed beneath our feet, and up a narrow stairwell that opened into the rooftop garden patio. And that's when she lit up. Alex didn't just look around, she absorbed it. Eyes wide, hands trailing along the reclaimed wood beams like they were relics in a museum. She leaned in close to the copper tap lines, tracing them with her fingers as she asked question after question, her voice soft and curious and full of that wonder she didn't even try to hide. I stayed a step behind the entire time, and I didn't mind, not one bit. There was something about watching her discover new places that made the world feel new to me too. Like I was seeing it through her, like her excitement rewrote the blueprint of the space itself. And with the way she moved ahead of me, talking with her hands, spinning on her heels to point something out, well, let's just say I had no complaints about the view. Dinner was on the house. Dominic liked her immediately, and I didn't blame him. She had that quiet magnetism, the kind that pulled people in without effort. She didn't need to perform, she just was, and somehow that was more captivating than anything rehearsed. On the drive back, we couldn't stop laughing about the food, the brewery dog that licked her sandal, her obsession with the mason jars hung from twine like fireflies. Her joy had this way of spilling into everything around her, and that joy was contagious. When we pulled up to her building, I stayed behind the wheel while she got out. She leaned in through the window, hair falling forward in soft waves, her perfume mixing with the warm summer air. I'll see you tomorrow, she said. Just need to pack tonight. I nodded, eyes still on her. We're staying at my place, right? Yes, makes more sense. The meeting's at your office in the morning, and then we fly out. She smiled, gave a little wave, and disappeared into the glow of the lobby. I didn't drive off right away. I just sat there staring at the spot where she'd stood, that stupid grin still pulling at my mouth. One more night apart, then a full week. Just us, no clients, no zoning boards, no distractions. I had no idea what the week would look like, and for the first time and longer than I cared to admit, that unknown didn't scare me. It felt like possibility, because wherever she was, that's where I wanted to be. Alex's point of view. Thursday morning at the gym was humbling. I barely had the energy for yoga, and even that felt like too much. My muscles ached from head to toe, a quiet rebellion from the week's chaos. I let myself melt into the sauna for 15 slow minutes before I practically crawled back upstairs to the apartment, my body begging me for grace. After a long hot shower that did little more than take the edge off, I slipped into black pants and a fuchsia halter neck top, one of my favorites. Black heels, a swipe of gloss, and I was ready. Today was the last day I'd have to dress like this for at least a week. After this, swimsuits and cover-ups. Just thinking about it loosened something in my chest. All I had to do was tie up a few loose ends at the office, make sure my clients were taken care of, and trust my team to do the rest. Shay would be training the new receptionist next week, then transitioning to my assistant the week after. That promotion couldn't come fast enough. I didn't just need support. I wanted someone I could mentor, someone I could trust. I grabbed my bags and headed to the elevator looking like I was about to board a cargo ship, not catch a flight. I don't care how low maintenance you think you are. When women travel, we bring our lives in those suitcases. And don't let anyone shame us for it. The valet helped me get my bags in the car. At the office, I headed straight to Shay's desk. She was mid-call, so I leaned over her counter, scrolling through emails. The moment she hung up, she shot out of her chair and threw her arms around me. "Only 2 more weeks and I'm yours," she squealed, bouncing like a kid at Christmas. I laughed, barely keeping hold of my coffee. "Oh my God, it sounds like we're getting married." "I didn't know that was an option," she teased, hands on my shoulders like she was steadying me in her excitement at the same time. "You never know," I said, smirking, throwing an arm around her. We moved into my office and went over my client list. She took notes, asked all the right questions, and when we finished, I had her sending Grant. Emails, calls, follow-ups. The Santoros were gracious, telling me to enjoy my vacation. I packed up my laptop, tied up my files, and headed out. I called Roman from the car. He answered like he'd been waiting for me. "Well, hello there. Perfect timing. I was just turning out the lights in my office." 3 o'clock? I asked, suspicious. "I've got better things to do today." "Like what?" I asked, already smiling. I could feel the butterflies starting their usual warm-up routine. "Working out." I snorted. "You're so full of it." He laughed. God, that sound. "All right, fine. I had plans to take a walk down to the river with you, maybe swing on the swings." "That actually sounds perfect," I said, softening. "What about dinner?" "I'm cooking." Freaking total package. Don't screw this up, Kennedy. This night just keeps getting better. I pulled into the garage and parked next to his car, but the second I stepped out, a shiver ran down my spine, the uneasy feeling, like someone was watching me. I glanced around trying to play it cool. Nothing, no one. Still, the air felt heavy, off. I slipped into the elevator and texted Roman so he could unlock penthouse access. The doors closed and I sagged against the back wall, letting out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. But even as the elevator climbed, my anxiety crept higher. Every glass panel in the walls made me feel like I was being exposed. When the doors opened, Roman was waiting. He didn't say a word, just stepped forward, took my bags like it was the most natural thing in the world, and that quiet calm that only he seemed to offer swept through me. I glanced over my shoulder one last time, then followed him inside. I was still in my work clothes and wanted out of them immediately. I grabbed a change of clothes from my suitcase and was on my way to the bathroom when he caught me by the waist. "Hey there." I didn't even get a proper hello. His voice was warm and low, and his touch sent a shock of awareness through me. My nerves were still firing from the parking garage weirdness. "Hi," I whispered. "Sorry. Just want to get out of these clothes and into something comfy before our river stroll." He smirked. "I really like it when you say you're getting out of your clothes." My knees actually buckled. The scent of his cologne, the heat of his body behind mine, Jesus. My eyes fluttered shut. He chuckled and the sound vibrated through me. "Go get changed," he said, smacking my behind gently. before nudging me toward the door. I looked back with fake outrage. I changed into black running shorts, a soft white t-shirt that read, "I love Jesus, but I curse a little," and my black and white sneakers. My hair went up in a high ponytail, easy and comfortable, before stepping into the kitchen. "I didn't know you were a Jesus girl," he said, reading my shirt. The subject always made me squirm. I gave him just enough to end it. "Maggie's kids got it for me one Christmas. We used to go to church together when they were littler. One day they asked, 'Why does Aunt Allie get to say the bad words you told us not to?' He laughed so hard I thought he might choke. 'What happened with the church thing?' I shrugged. 'I got too busy. If you ever want to go back, I'd go with you.' I scrunched my nose. 'I don't think so, but if you ever want to, Maggie and Abby's families go. They really like you. God hadn't done anything good for me in a long time, so why bother?' He smiled but didn't respond. 'Let's go before walking is the last thing we end up doing,' I teased, eyeing him head to toe to try and divert his attention from all this God talk. I was thankful it worked. His eyes darkened. 'Careful.' He grabbed my hand and twirled me into the elevator. Outside, it was overcast, gorgeous in its own way. The air was thick with the pre-storm feeling, but we took our chances. 5 minutes in, the skies opened, a full-blown summer downpour. We sprinted toward the nearest shelter, laughing so hard my sides hurt. My clothes stuck to me in seconds. I should have been annoyed, my hair, my makeup, my outfit, but instead I was buzzing, alive. 'Let's just walk in the rain,' I said, grabbing both his hands and tugging. 'I'm game if you are.' I let go of him, spun in the rain, arms wide. 'I just want to be free for a minute.' He grinned, grabbed my hand again, and we walked, soaked and laughing along the river path, just us. The path was void of any people since the rains came. We walked straight through the front doors of his building, dripping, disheveled, and unapologetic. No one dared stop us. Everyone knew who Roman was, even if they didn't say a word. Still, I could practically hear the front desk girls already lining up their whispers, ready to spin our arrival into tomorrow's gossip. After my shower, I slipped into one of his robes. When he came out, it was his turn to steal the breath right out of me. Nothing but gray sweatpants hanging low on his hips, a walking violation. My brain short-circuited, and judging by the heat rushing to my face, I was certain it showed. 'I like that robe on you,' he said, eyes blazing, 'but I'd like it better off.' I swallowed hard, knees weak. 'I feel the same about those sweatpants.' He smirked, but then, just like that, the moment shifted and came to an abrupt halt. 'Well,' he said, voice teasing but a little too composed, 'now that we got that out of the way, let's go make dinner.' I blinked. What the hell just happened? We moved to the kitchen, me perched on a stool with a glass of wine, him barefoot and gorgeous, sautéing something on the stove. I watched him, silently battling the need to say something. Finally, I broke. 'Roman, you said something earlier that stuck with me. Now that we got that out of the way.' 'What did you mean by that?' He didn't look at me at first, just kept stirring. I was fishing. 'For what?' 'For a sign that I'm not crazy, that you feel it too.' I froze. 'You mean you can't read me?' I asked playfully as my nerves started to get the best of me. 'I can't,' he said, finally turning, 'but I can feel you, and it's intense. It's not like anything I've felt before.' That unlocked something in me. It's overwhelming, I finally felt like I could admit. And it feels too important to rush. I don't want to screw it up. He came around the counter slowly and wrapped his arms around me from behind, resting his chin on my shoulder. 'I feel the same,' he whispered. 'I'm not used to waiting, but this, I'd wait.' I melted into his chest, into his words. After dinner, I changed into pajamas, soft cotton shorts, and an old tank top. Nothing sexy, nothing clingy, just enough fabric to remind myself we had a full week together in the same orbit starting tomorrow. The thought made my stomach flip. I lingered in front of the bathroom mirror, brushing my hair slower than necessary, trying to tame both the strands and my breathing. The dinner had been perfect, candlelight softening every edge, the faint clink of glasses punctuating laughter that flowed easily. Roman had been all warmth and patience, answering every question, his gaze steady, intent, like I was the most fascinating thing in the room. And maybe that's what unnerved me, the way he looked at me, like he saw me, like he liked what he saw. Not just my body, not just the spark I gave him, me. I cupped cool water into my palms and let it wash over my face. Droplets slid down my cheeks, beading along my jaw, trailing to my collarbone before I blotted them away with a towel. My skin was warm, too warm, my reflection flushed. The wine left my pulse low and steady, but beneath the calm was a restless hum, a a thrum in my blood, an ache I couldn't shake. It wasn't just desire, it was deeper, hungrier. I wanted him in a way that felt cellular, and if the pull came from bone and marrow, as if surrendering, even for a moment, would mean losing myself inside whatever this was. And maybe I wanted that. Maybe I wanted him, but not tonight, not yet. When I walked out, Roman was already stretched out on the bed, shirtless, flipping through something on his phone. He looked up at me like he'd been waiting, not impatient, not demanding, just there in that steady way he always was when I needed anchoring. He didn't say a word, just smiled, soft and slow, like he was letting me set the tone. I climbed in next to him, careful not to touch too much skin. My body had other ideas, warm pooling below, thoughts flickering to places I'd spent all week trying not to go, but I curled under the covers and kept a few inches between us, not because I didn't want him, but because I wanted him too much. And God help me, I was finally starting to believe this might be the beginning of something real, kind of real that doesn't just burn bright but lasts. And I didn't want to risk rushing it. I didn't want to break it before it had a chance to become whatever it was meant to be. So I laid there in the dark beside him, heartbeat steadying, breath syncing with his, and let the quiet hold us. And for once, I didn't feel like I needed to run. And that was the chapter. Sitting here reading that version out loud, it feels different. It felt right. For the first time since I started this journey, I can say I'm proud of what I've written, not because it's perfect and I'm terrible at reading it, but because it's honest. It comes from a place of peace instead of pressure, and that's something I didn't have before. This rewrite isn't just about changing a few scenes or softening the edges. It's about finally aligning what I create with who I've become. Stories are still emotional, still messy, still full of love and struggle, but now they carry the kind of meaning I always hoped they would. It reminds me of Philippians 4:8. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable. If anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. That's where I want my writing to live now, in the space where truth and beauty meet. So if you've been with me since the beginning, thank you. And if you're just finding me now, welcome. I have a feeling this is only the beginning of something really beautiful. Let me know what you thought of the chapter. Did you feel the shift, the emotion, the heart behind it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And sweet dreams. God bless, and good night.